The humid stench of rotting fish and taxpayer-funded incompetence hangs thick over Chuttisker as our 14-foot public servant lies motionless in stagnant water, a 2,000-pound glare that makes Elon Musk look like Mr. Rogers. Meet Bhakran, India's first civil servant with scales and a kill count, whose 2020 bureaucratic appointment proved humanity will try to administrate anything that hasn't eaten us yet. This swamp creature didn't just get a government salary, oh no, he secured legal immunity brighter than a Supreme Court justice's vacation home. Villagers filed formal complaints about his lethargic attitude toward community service, as if expecting a Mesozoic killing machine to audit irrigation projects between dismembering water buffalo, the same species that inspired the Sobek cults of ancient Egypt, where priests fed them jeweled goose carcasses in marble temples, now sits on an Indian payroll with better job security than a tenured professor. Progress. Modernity's genius revealed itself when locals paid staff to guard this bureaucratic mascot's pond, transforming tax rupees into floating sun decks for an apex predator. Complaints piled up faster than his digestive system processed stray dogs. Refuses to patrol after monsoon season, doesn't participate in village meetings, shows no interest in waste management. This is humanity speedrunning the Peter Principle, promoting crocodiles to middle management, because what could go wrong? We went from sacrificing virgins to appease reptile gods to filing HR grievances against them on quadruplicate forms. Bhakran's contribution to civil service. Existing menacingly, while bureaucrats siphoned funds for his pond maintenance, a scam more transparent than his nictitating membranes. Meanwhile, in actual productivity, this ambush predator's career highlights include snapping at tourists and digesting 30 kilos of subsidized goat meat weekly. His LinkedIn would read passive-aggressive resistance to KPIs since 65 million BCE. Yet villagers kept submitting paperwork proof that Homo sapiens will bureaucratize Armageddon itself if given enough red tape and delusional hope. The ultimate joke: humans blaming the crocodile for governmental failure. You hired an animal that views salmonella as a condiment to oversee infrastructure development. What's next? Inviting termites to head the Ministry of Housing. Bhakran's greatest public service was exposing how desperately we'll anthropomorphize literal dinosaurs to avoid admitting our systems are jokes. Watching villagers argue with Paleolithic jaws about work ethic felt like seeing GPT-4 try to debate a toaster. Generations from now, archaeologists will find these complaint forms fossilized in his belly beside shin bones and think, late-stage democracy, when civilizations outsourced logic to reptiles with dental hygiene from hell. And history whispered. So picture this: Neolithic apex predator snoozing in his taxpayer-funded lagoon while some clerk with a receding hairline stamps case unresolved on complaints about his hibernation schedule. The forms villagers used: state-mandated Annexure 17B, same template used for reporting absent schoolteachers or stolen goats. Drop-down menus included options like excessive snapping during prayer hours and unauthorized digestive PTO, because nothing says administrative progress like documenting a carnivore's nap cycles in 12-point font. Bhakran's preferred sleeping posture, mouth agape with decomposing ibis breath, became subject to subsection 8. 4. What killed me? The disciplinary procedure mandated 3 written warnings before termination for a creature whose response to criticism was projectile vomiting half-eaten monitor lizards. This cognitive dissonance reeked of suburban HOA energy. Karen's filing noise complaints against T-Rex says they'd whinge about Bhakran's lack of professionalism after he gnawed on a bureaucrat's bicycle. My guy literally evolved during the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction. You think he gives 2 fucks about your double-parked rickshaw? The villagers treated him like that one incompetent co-worker who sleeps at his desk, but can't be fired because his uncle knows the regional minister. Bhakran arrived 1 hour late to ceremonial fish feeding today. Reads like passive-aggressive Slack messages to an alligator who considers humans' finger food. Peak absurdity hit when they implemented peer reviews. The 1983 Performance Improvement Plan required Bhakran's pond mate turtles to evaluate his teamwork skills. Spoiler: reptile feedback forms came back soggy and suspiciously absent of criticism. Even funnier, villagers cited lack of upward mobility as a grievance. Yes, they genuinely complained the crocodile wasn't ambitious enough. Bro's entire career trajectory peaked when he outlived the dinosaurs. Now you want him pivoting to middle management. This would be like demanding a chainsaw get promoted to CFO because it's good at cutting things. The darkest joke: Bhakran got suspended without pay in 1987 for terrifying a visiting politician, not eating him, not mauling children, for existing too menacingly near some bureaucrat's photo op. They docked his goat rations over, creating workplace hostility, as if his resting death glare violated some HR sensitivity training. Meanwhile, actual government embezzlement got rubber-stamped as pond renovation expenses, while starving farmers ate mud cakes downstream. Modern parallels. Replace crocodile with any useless corporate VP. Same glacial productivity. Same talent for delegating actual work to underlings while collecting perks. My ex-wife Karen once submitted a complaint about my snoring volume to our marriage counselor via notarized letter. Humanity's obsession with paperwork as emotional duct tape transcends species, continents, and marital collapse. Archaeologists digging up these complaint forms centuries later will face an evolutionary riddle. How did hairless apes survive long enough to invent bureaucracy? Answer: pure spite. When climate change finally cooks us, cockroaches will inherit the earth alongside government clerks still processing extinction paperwork in triplicate. Case dismissed. Oh, honeybaked hubris. Zimbabwe took one glance at Bhakran's case file and declared, "Watch me outstupid the Geneva Conventions with a bag of circus peanuts." Harare High Court, 2008. First witchcraft trial to feature a vervet monkey not as a character witness, but as the prosecution's smoking gun. Prosecutors claimed the primate's frantic pointing at the defendant qualified as sworn testimony. Never mind that 15 minutes earlier, the same monkey had accused a ceiling fan of stealing its soul. Defense team cited banana-based witness tampering, proving the creature's previous false allegation against a decorative teapot made it less reliable than Elon Musk's Twitter verification team. Legal anthropologists now call this Jungle Book jurisprudence. Ancient Rome weaponized sacred geese against invaders. Zimbabwe subpoenas monkeys to settle property disputes. At this rate, we'll have honey badgers recording trial transcripts by 2025. Though let's be real, their redactions would still be more transparent than Congress' financial disclosures. Thailand retaliated in 2020 by deputizing temple monitor lizards as courtroom enforcers, not metaphorical karma machines. Actual 6-foot reptiles trained to ooze near disputed farmland until peasants reconsider their inheritance claims. Landmark case. Monks submitted lizard molting as evidence against a corrupt abbot, dismissing chain of custody concerns by arguing the reptile's droppings on stolen relics were divine Venmo transfers. Appeals court nearly imploded debating whether cold-blooded creatures could legally testify. Dissenting opinion. They're objectively more reliable than crypto brokers, but lacking opposable thumbs, unable to pinky swear on Bibles. Chaos metastasized when a Fuquet court installed a macaque as interim judge during a clerk's strike. Imagine Netflix's Tiger King directing a courtroom drama. Sentencing devolved into the primate flinging mango pulp at the defendant's hairpiece. Motion for mistrial cited prejudice against synthetic follicular engineering. Later immortalized as Fleabag v. Judiciary, the precedent that primates can legally preside if they don't weaponize their brunch. Modern legal theory. Just chuck Zumba tiles at a wildlife encyclopedia. My crypto bro neighbor tried this when our landlord sued over converting the duplex into an illegal axolotl breeding den. His defense: pigeons nesting in his pizza boxes constituted avian squatters' rights infrastructure. Judge fined us $19,000 and suggested Chad be taxonomically reclassified as toxic runoff. Shared global delusion. We'll outsource justice to capybara tribunal juries before admitting our own systemic rot. Rats sniff out landmines with higher accuracy than audit committees. Border collies optimize municipal budgets sans embezzlement. Their only fee: tennis balls and belly rubs. Even our ancestors let livestock decide geopolitical outcomes. Mayflower pilgrims allowed a concussed goat to select Plymouth Rock via urinary divination. Latest developments: Thailand's monitor lizards now enjoy parliamentary immunity after, inadvertently, defecating on evidence implicating royal cousins. Zimbabwe's testing parrot-based jury selection, while hyenas moonlight as witness intimidation specialists. And why not? Verdicts feel 38% more legitimate when stamped with koala paw prints in fermented eucalyptus ink. Final proof: my divorce lawyer argued spousal support via screenshots of her pile of poo emoji texts, claiming they constituted demotional cryptocurrency. Judge awarded my ex everything except my dignity, which, let's be honest, vanished back in 2012 when I tried to deduct Funko Pops as dependents. The system works, provided your moral compass got stuck spinning like a Kylie Jenner TikTok transition. Vienna's governing bodies transformed into a live-action episode of Naked and Afraid. Parliamentary edition for 3 solid weeks, delicately sidestepping swallow nests like Bezos tiptoeing around union organizers. Legislation paused. Democracy entered a TikTok coma. Why? Because some ministerial egghead rediscovered Article 12. 7. Austria's ancient "don't disturb" burb clause, and suddenly, Freyalene Feather's curtain rod clutch held more legal sway than the nation's deficit crisis. Budget talks, kaput. Votes, canceled faster than Twitter blues credibility. Mozart's ghost allegedly threatened to soundtrack dissenters. Lives with harpsichord covers of Stray Kids God's menu, until compliance was achieved. C-SPAN equivalent footage revealed the Minister of Agriculture swapping policy debates for nest surveillance, utilizing Euros 20,000 Swarovski binoculars gifted by Czech's notes. Avian Allies PAC. His schedule: 49% monitoring egg temperatures, 51% funneling EU subsidies into his nephew's alpaca-themed OnlyFans venture. Not once did anyone question the swallow's squatters' rights. Instead, Parliament commissioned Gucci to draft vibe-based taxonomies, ranking nests by aesthetic coherence with the building's neo-Gothic facade. Contrast this with my ex-wife Karen's HOA enforcing bylaws like Thanos snapping away fun, fining retirees for unsanctioned dahlia defiance, while eagles nested rent-free in their satellite dishes. Birds achieved what Extinction Rebellion couldn't: collapsing bureaucracy by weaponizing architectural loitering. These weren't endangered saintly sparrows. They were literal dumpster divers. Avian Neat handed divine status because some intern retweeted Nestcore. Vienna's Parliament Hall morphed into a taxpayer-subsidized Bugoon buffet with mealworm amuse-bouche, while Hungary's feral parakeets colonized Pac's nuclear power plant, issuing press releases via Squawkbox. Accept chlorophyll majesty or face seed embargo. Civilization erodes when you let critters dictate policy. Ancient Athens employed owls as ballot guardians, winged terminators scanning for voter fraud. Moguls let inebriated pachyderms veto tax codes. But modern Austria, legislators ratified avian absolutism quicker than Elon Musk impulse buying a sinking app. 21 days without governance. 0 resolutions condemning nest imperialism. Committee minutes devolved into Zuckerberg's metaverse fanfic. Tuesday, Secretary Haas modeled biodegradable nest liners. Wednesday, Deputy Minister swallowed by sentient ivy during nest tax debate. Thursday, Bird GPT drafted Amendment 666. All speeches henceforth translated into warbles. The stalemate broke only when Swallow dive-bombed Socialist MP Franziska Bainhoff mid-sermon about wealth redistribution, baptizing her linen Acris blazer in what forensics later confirmed was 80% hedge and as 20% contempt. Suddenly, sacred swallows became sky rats, as Bainhoff screeched about ornithological coups d'etat while aides simultaneously Googled dry cleaning rebates and flamethrower rentals. An emergency session reclassified swallows as non-tax-paying sublitters, possibly voiding Article 12. 7 if circulated as an Instagram poll. Final humiliation. Investigators found the blessed nests emptier than Yeezy's morals. No eggs, just desiccated beetle husks and one Tamagotchi. Turns out swallows invented legislative gaslighting, committing generational psyop fraud while parliamentarians bowed before imaginary omelets. My divorce lawyer called it audacious avian ghosting, or in layman's terms, getting Karen-ed by wildlife. Congrats, humanity. Madrid now licenses raccoons as sanitation inspectors. BTS's Jungkook can't tour in Estonia due to undocumented eagle allergies. And Oslo's parliament is drafting pronouns for fjord-dwelling pixies. Your next food delivery. A honey badger holding a voided Yelp review like Judge Dredd's arrest warrant. So now, your Airbnb listing gets denied because some clerk discovered hedgehogs wrote their thesis on structural engineering where your guest bathroom stands, citing RV. European badger. The 1992 case where British jurists ruled that burrowing constitutes adverse possession in squat defense. That's right. A Hampshire farmer lost his land because badgers mounted a squatter's rights defense with more receipts than Canai's divorce filings. Today, their great-great-grandkids still collect royalties whenever Home Depot sells a single shovel in a 50-mile radius of Devon. Enter modern courts treating animal precedents like Elan treats child support, acknowledged but promptly yeeted into low Earth orbit until the paternity test. Remember Mexico's axolotl rights referendum, where the adorable salamanders got individual pensions and dental plans voted in after disrupting a Netflix shoot. Now San Diego homeowners face HOAs fining them for discriminatory sunflower seed policies because a parrot's emotional support tortilla chip was branded too spicy by, you guessed it, Cardinal v. Norfolk Southern, where pigeons were granted discovery powers after a train spilled grain. Yes, same ruling that inspired bird law in It's Always Sunny, because life imitates bad art lost in a benzodiazepine fugue state. And let's not forget India's sacred crocodile, officially government employee Bhima, who retired in 2021 with back pay, a trust fund for his 43 hatchlings, and a dedicated cricket channel. His pension still contested, primarily by his fourth wife, who allegedly exhibited gold-digging behavior per forensic tail slaps, echoing the Luxembourg swallow accords you just witnessed. Humans tried docking his benefits, but his lawyer pointed to a 2019 ruling where drones delivering Zomato orders were reclassified as migratory birds to avoid FAA fees. This brings us to the piece de resistance of bureaucratic psychosis. Oregon's Corvus Corax v. Waste Management, where ravens successfully argued littering tickets violated their cultural right to trade shiny objects for mating privileges. The judge cited Helsinki's party parrot verdict that nullified noise complaints when a cockatoo sang WAP at 3 a.m., proving animals weaponize loopholes like influencers exploit OnlyFans tax exemptions. The twist: we taught them this. So the next time squirrels sue your HOA over acorn repossession rights, or a wombat annexes your Tesla charging station under tunnel domain laws, just remember, every idiot statute humanity rubber-stamped now lives forever, layer-caked in judicial fanfic penned by badgers with vendettas. Your property taxes now subsidize organic avocado rations for possums. Tick-tock.